Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here. So this year there was a terrible arson attack on the anime studio KyotoAnimation, resulting in the loss of many lives. This was an awful tragedy that broke so many people's hearts. To memorialise this studio, I would like to talk about a film they made, a movie that's become my #1 favourite film. As a child, Shoya bullied a classmate called Shoko for being deaf, and his cruelty led to becoming ostracized by everyone around him. Years later, Shoya tries to reach out to Shoko, wanting to be her friend. Shoya intends to make amends, while also helping Shoko find the courage to love herself, and the two end up developing romantic feelings for each other. On its surface, A Silent Voice is a romance, but not a conventional one. It tells its love story in a very nuanced fashion, so don't expect any build up to a first kiss or some kind of big date scene. I think that's what makes the romance so interesting. It shows teen love as complex, awkward, and wobbly. These characters are at a very confused age, while also having to deal with their own personal issues. So of course their romance is going to be far from straightforward, but that's why I love it. It's a refreshing take on romantic storytelling, one that transcends beyond the conventions of cinematic romance. The end goal isn't to see these two get together as a couple, but rather help each other find the strength to love themselves, through forgiveness and understanding. However, the movie is more than just a love story. It's also a powerful coming-of-age drama, a tale of redemption and overcoming self-loathing. These two are characters who are facing anguish and pain brought on by a huge sense of guilt. Shoya is haunted by the bullying he inflicted on Shoko, while Shoko has developed a strong insecurity about her lack of hearing. On the one hand, it's a film about Shoya facing his demons, atoning for the sins of his past, while proving that he can genuinely change into a better person. However, the film doesn't shy away from criticizing the sincerity behind Shoya's intentions, letting characters question his motives.
Seriously? Just who do you think you are? I see through your act.
Huh?
What are we? A couple of strays? You doing this to feel better about yourself? Must be extra amusing to you because she's deaf, right? Yeah.
While Shoya has to ask himself if he's really doing all this to clear his conscience, or because he honestly cares about Shoko's mental health.
I guess Shoko told you all about me, huh? Well, you're right. I am a horrible person. The world would probably be better off if I wasn't around. But still, I just don't want to cause Shoko any more pain.
But it's also a movie about the hardships of being deaf, drawing attention to how difficult it is to grow up with impaired hearing.
What are you even saying? Get off! I can't even understand you!
Encouraging audiences to put themselves in the shoes of Shoko and sympathize with her experiences. It's this amazing representation of deaf people that makes the film really special. Not just because it gives the deaf community a voice, but it's also a film for the hearing impaired to resonate with.
But she already has some bud. I bet she only wants the most so she can eat it. You don't have to buy her
slow
any.
down,
I
Zach.
can't believe she made you do
Wait,
that.
just... Can you sign it?
Is my voice weird?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't... your voice sounds totally okay.
A Silent Voice is ultimately about finding connection, to come together and communicate, in spite of differences, limitations, or obstacles. Hence why a central backdrop for most of the film is a bridge, a strong metaphor for building a link. Let's not forget the term bridging the gap. I'm going to give 5 points to the content. Shoya was a terror as a kid. He was always bored at school, and he took this frustration out by teasing Shoko and trying to find an adrenaline from making his classmates laugh. He also struggled to understand Shoko's condition, feeling confused by her unusual methods of communication, and instead of trying to relate to her, he instead translated his confusion into rage. However, he's matured into a polite, empathetic man with a good conscience, although he's also developed a very obvious obvious social anxiety. This is what makes Shoya such a strong character. He's improved as a person and has a conscience now, but he's also been emotionally traumatized by his classmates' efforts to punish him for being a bully, showing that bullying a bully isn't the answer. Many of us have made mistakes in the past, most notably as children, so we can relate to Shoya's desperate need to prove that he's grown up and that painful desire to be forgiven for his sins. We empathize with Shoya because we know that he's a decent human being. We see him going to extra lengths to selflessly help others. But he needs to feel forgiven in order to validate his progress. If not, he'll spiral into a pit of self-hatred, guilt, and suicidal feelings. Of course, being accused of not changing by an old classmate brings out the worst of him, but that's because he's trying so hard to be a good person, and his efforts being denied sinks him back into the darkness. It's Shoko's compassion and forgiveness that inspires the best out of Shoya, helping him to reconnect with people after years of pushing others away, which is all he really needs. Shoko isn't a character who is simply defined by being a deaf girl. She's more than that. She's kind, empathetic, cheery, generous, and charmingly humble. She simply wants to make friends and have fun, just like any other teenage girl. In spite of her suffering, or maybe because of her internal pain, she has so much love to give to everyone around her, even to those who say they don't like her. That's not to say that she's portrayed as unrealistically perfect. The film doesn't paint her as this angelic saint. She can be insensitive to her sister in sibling fights, and she does have a habit of being very, very stubborn. But I'd say her biggest character flaw is, most likely brought on by the years of bullying, that she overestimates herself, imposing expectations on herself that are very difficult to live up to because of her deafness, like wanting to speak extremely fluently or communicate easily without the aid of sign language. It's her frustrations over these disadvantages that make her hate herself, feeling like she's a burden to those around her, when we know that she can't help being deaf. With her new friend support, especially Shoya, she must realize that she is loved and wanted in this world. That her impaired hearing doesn't make her a bad person. Tomohiro is a boy that becomes Shoya's best friend. Like Shoya, he has difficulty socializing, which is why he cherishes Shoya for giving him a chance for friendship. He can often be clingy and sometimes inappropriate, but the film does criticize this.
Seriously, what are you even doing here?
I followed you. Friends have each other's backs.
The shitty stalker has his own shitty stalker.
While I can imagine some viewers finding him annoying, I think there's some charm to his eagerness and loyalty. Yuzuru first introduces herself as Shoko's boyfriend, but in a comical reveal, she confesses that she's actually Shoko's younger sister. Yuzuru has become so protective and caring of her deaf sister that she's ended up neglecting herself.
You spend so much time worried about your big sister. Now I'm starting to worry about you, sweetie.
She's a sweet kid with an affectionate admiration for Shoko, but she's also got a funny, cheeky sense of humor. Seeing her giving up everything to look after Shoko is actually kind of heartbreaking, especially when she has a knack for photography that could take her places in life. And we feel happy seeing her getting back on track. Naoka is the kind of person that Shoya could have become if he never grew up. She's let her bitter spite towards Shoko's disability consume her, blaming Shoko for a circle of friends falling apart, when really it's the bullying that created all the tension. She's a very difficult character to like, but we're not supposed to like her. She represents Shoya's abusive past and old toxic habits. However, it is hinted that a part of her does want to connect with Shoko, despite her malicious resentment towards her, in a scene that reveals that Naoka has been secretly learning sign language. Miki is another old classmate of Shoya's, and the only one that's gone on to study at the same high school as him. She's friendly and soft-spoken, but also in denial of any part she's played in the bullying, even though she's technically complicit, because she sat by while it happened. She paints herself as an innocent victim to deflect any accusations. Her narcissism does make her quite unlikable, even maybe more so than Naoka, because at least Naoka admits her faults.
Listen, I really suck at life sometimes. especially when it comes to stuff like this.
But Miki is still a vital character in the story, being the one who exposes Shoya's past. She also serves as an example of how some bullies face their sins, complete denial of what they've done, an often ignored aspect of abuse. And it's kind of satisfying seeing Naoka pointing out Miki's obvious guilt.
Oh. You're right. You and I are completely different. You just sat back and laughed along with everyone else.
Satoshi's a new friend for Shoya, being someone that has no idea about Shoya's past, but also doesn't idolize him like Tomohiro does, making him the perfect neutral voice in the film's story. He's not as well-rounded or fleshed out as the other characters, but he's not supposed to be. His purpose is to represent a new chance for Shoya to make friends at high school. The tension of his character is seeing whether he'll find out about Shoya's past and how he'll react to the truth if he does. Sahara was the only girl in the class that gave Shoko a chance, wanting to learn sign language to better understand her. But that just made her a target for the bullies, which motivated her to move schools. She's always felt guilty about leaving Shoko behind, calling herself a coward, but she had a good reason to want to change schools, and she does want to make up for lost time with Shoko. Then there's Shoya's mum. Most bully characters have mean parents to explain why they're so abusive, but this mother breaks that cliche, being a woman who genuinely cares about her son, wants to raise him right, apologizes to Shoko's mother, and is the most sensible adult in the cast, going as far as trying to break up a fight between Naoka and Shoko's mother. Shoko's mother herself seems very worn out. She deeply cares for her kids, being quite protective of Shoko in particular, especially after facing years of school bullying. At first, she's understandably apprehensive of Shoya, but as time goes on, she begins to relax, and when Shoya tries to stop Shoko from committing suicide, Shoko's mother is completely convinced that the boy has changed. I'm going to give 5 points to the characters. In concept, you could argue that this film didn't need to be animated, with its grounded narrative being possible in live action, but its execution proves otherwise, convincing me that I can't imagine this film in any other medium. The animation emphasizes the character's emotions in a special way, adding that extra personality to a point where the animation seems justified, but doesn't kill the seriousness of the drama. It finds the middle ground of slightly exaggerated and somewhat realistic. These characters have such vivid facial expressions that we understand their emotions immediately. The animation has the power to heighten our senses, putting us into the deaf perspective, in which what we visually register becomes a stronger importance. But the film also knows when to cut the camera away to draw attention to translations of Shoko's sign language. There's also details that make the animation creative and useful throughout the movie. Blue crosses are placed on characters that Shoya isn't friends with, to show his disconnect from others. And when a cross falls off, it's a powerful moment, all from the simple peeling of an abstract symbol. The way that the film presents sign language is amazing. Characters' hands move with a smooth grace as they sign, making this form of communication look like some kind of hand ballet, giving a beauty to the language of the hearing impaired. I'm going to give 5 points to the animation. Robbie Daymond voices Shoya, bringing a well-meaning kindness to his performance, as well as this nervous jitteriness that makes him kind of adorable.
I was wondering, can me and you, Shoko, can we be friends? Is that an option? Whoa, what did I just say? Huh, that's what you were trying to ask me back in school.
Lexi Marmon Cowden voices Shoko. Being a deaf actress helps a character sound genuinely hearing impaired. But Cowden also perfectly captures the sweet tenderness of Shoko too.
Yeah?
Time to get up.
I'm up. You startled me awake.
Get out of bed. Breakfast is...
Wait! Before you go. What's up? Your hair. Today, it's in a ponytail. Are you...
Kristen Sullivan voices Yuzuru with a unique masculinity, helping her character stand out and contrast more against her hyper-feminine older sister.
Aren't you mad at me?
About what?
I'm the one who posted the photo of you online.
Oh, so that was you. Thank goodness. What a relief. Seriously.
For reals?
At least I have a pretty good idea of why you did it.
Graham Halstead voices Tomohiro with an upbeat eagerness that makes him sound more endearing than annoying to me.
Hey, Yasho. Give me your hand, okay? Hey, hey. Now you and I is friends. It can be as simple as that, see? Friendship don't gotta do with no rules or qualifications, 'cause it's about something deeper. A bond, and you just can't break that.
Kira Buckland voices Naoka, giving her this mean-spirited, passive-aggressive voice, but she doesn't end up sounding like a supervillain. She's still played as a confused, angry teenage girl.
Say something! What? You finally felt bad for all the problems you created for everyone, so you decided to kill yourself? And now all you can say is, I'm sorry? Is that it? Well, that's not going to cut it anymore! Who do you think you are, huh? You're a loser. A deaf loser. You sit there in your own little world and ignore everyone else around you.
Amber Lee Connors plays Miki, doing a really great job sounding like a melodramatic teenager with a defensive attitude.
What are you saying? Wait, you think I'm spreading rumors about what happened in elementary school?
Will you keep it down? The whole school can hear you.
I really wanted to believe that you would actually change, Shoya. But you're still the same awful person you were in elementary school!
Can you just please calm down a second?
Max Mittelman voices Satoshi, giving him this cool, laid-back voice that makes him sound approachable and nice.
You okay?
Hey, that's pretty impressive. I didn't know you could sign.
You must have worked really hard to learn sign language.
Melissa Hope voices Sahara, performing her with a caring voice that has an undertone of self-conscious guilt.
I've been learning sign. Or trying. Was that right? I know I just kinda disappeared on you back then. Sorry about that.
Sora Cravens voices Shoya's mum, giving her this energetic glee that reminds me of so many different loving mothers I've met before.
Here you go, Yuzuru. Eat as much as you want, okay?
Where'd Sis go?
She said she'd be back late. Well, Maria, do you like it?
I love it. Great.
Lipika Shah plays Shoko's mum, sounding understandably tired and worried, as the mother of a bullied deaf girl would be.
Why is he here? What is that boy doing in our kitchen? I want an explanation right now.
Come
Get
on, Mom,
out.
don't be like that. It's a party. We're supposed to be celebrating.
Yuzuru.
You look great.
I'm going to give 5 points to the voice acting. For a film with heavy themes and teenage drama, you'd expect this movie score to be highly melodramatic, but what I love about it is that it chooses to go in a more subtle direction. There's a nuanced beauty to the compositions, a gentleness that's perfect for a film about characters contemplating their feelings. Soft piano plays in the background when a character thinks about the meaning of friendship or guilt trips themselves over the past. Muffled ambience can be heard to quietly set a complex mood that dialogue can't explain. This is a score that trusts the audience to appreciate a more delicate kind of music. There's no loud strings or bombastic brass, it's just pieces that are designed to put us in deep thought, or pay attention to these characters' expressions of communication. With the music being very downplayed or sometimes not even heard at all, the final scene becomes all the more emotional, as it features an uplifting burst of layered instruments exploding. All the blue crosses fall, adding a powerful sentiment to Shoya's personal accomplishment. I'm going to give 5 points to the music. To conclude, I think that A Silent Voice is a deeply moving and relatable film. It inspires me to improve into a better person, opens my eyes to the hardships of the hearing impaired, and reminds me to find the strength to love myself. It's a beautiful story of understanding and forgiveness that I never tire of watching. to all those at KyotoAnimation who worked on this movie, alive or gone, thank you from the bottom of my heart for making such a remarkable anime feature. A Silent Voice has gained 25 points, which translates to 5 strawberries out of 5. If you enjoyed such coming-of-age anime films as The Girl Who Leapt Through Time or Whisper of the Heart, then you might also like A Silent Voice. I've been Jambareeqi and I hope that you enjoyed this review. If you did, then feel free to subscribe, like and share. Please also consider pledging to my Patreon in return for awesome rewards. Thank you. I'd like to give a big special shout out to my newest patron too, Patrick McKenna. So, what am I going to be reviewing in the next episode of Jambareeqi Reviews? Well, this will be a Halloween special, and seeing as I've just reviewed my favourite film, I think I should now talk about the scariest film I've seen, The Shining. Cheerio, folks.
If a movie needs an exorcism, he'll smite the demon with criticism. If it deserves attention, he'll give it a heartfelt mention of strawberry